Hey everyone, a very good morning and welcome back to a daily market outlook for the major dollar pairs and of course gold. So starting off with the dollar index has pulled back in towards the EQ, in towards that 50% mark of the overall swing range. It's currently inside daily demand, inside 4-hour demand, so I am currently looking for a potential pullback or continuation, of the trend back up in towards the upside. Quickly looking at the 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see that we're just trickling down and we're still located inside this area of demand. Still have not just yet tapped in towards that 4-hour refined area of demand, but not necessarily waiting for that because we are of course inside daily demand. What I'm really specifically waiting for is for this high to get taken. This is my fractal high here on the 4-hour time frame, and I expect that once that high goes, and especially also if this high over here goes before this buy, before the sell-off, we can then reclaim order flow and see a push higher back up in towards this range over here. And once this range gets taken out, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot more higher prices from the dollar index straight back up in towards kind of like that 106 region up here. So that's that for the dollar index. Very simple what I'm looking for. Of course, if we move further down, just wait until we see some kind of slowdown in that downward push from the dollar index. So moving on in towards euro dollar. So EURUSD over here on the daily time frame, clearly can see that we've pulled back, of course, above the EQ, currently nearing this area of daily demand from where I am going to be looking for a short back in towards the downside. So yeah, I think a very clear daily time frame above the 50% mark. Daily swing is bearish, pulled back in towards the EQ. So for now, again, it's pretty much the same as yesterday. You just want to see this low go at a certain point in time, tap in towards this daily area of supply, push down, reclaim this low, and then supply is formed, and then we can look for further shorts in towards the downside. Now moving on in towards the 4-hour time frame, from where of course we like to execute, we can clearly also see that we're trying to slow down in towards the highs. So just over here we have this very beautiful ascending wedge. Somebody also asked this in the Discord community. If you're not in, by the way, just make sure to join. We can clearly see that we're squeezing in towards the highs, squeezing in towards supply. So there's two pretty much areas of supply that I'm looking for. That's this buy before the sell-off and pretty much this buy extreme before the sell. So your main resistance point is around 1.10. I do definitely expect a further drop in towards the downside once we kind of like reach this level. So just one more push up, and then I'll be starting to look to reclaim this low, which is your 4-hour fractal low, pull back in towards supply that broke this low, and then from there we start looking for further downside and further shorts, at least of course back in towards this 4-hour area of demand. So that's that from a 4-hour perspective, quickly showcasing you guys what we're seeing on the 15. So this 4-hour low is also your 15-minute swing low, just for clarification. And then for the rest, what we're seeing is that we're moving in towards the highs in line with the overall order flow. So we can very clearly see that every single time this is your sell before the buy, price comes in, moves back up. This is your sell before the buy, price comes back in, moves back up. Sell before the buy, price moves in, moves back up. Sell before the buy, price moves in, back up. Sell before the buy, in and out. So every single time we're seeing that the sell before the buy is holding. So very interesting to see that order flow kind of like maintain. And what I'm now looking for mainly is the internal structural low, which is this low over here, to go. So just one more push up on the 15-minute time frame. Then we got this high break, this internal high break, maybe pushing towards this black line, which is of course 4-hour supply. Doesn't need to have to. Can also just tap in towards daily supply, or it starts trickling down already. Because there are kind of like the supply zone on the daily time frame isn't as clear as we would like to be. So I'll just focus mainly on structure here. And the 15-minute internal structure break is going to be the early tail sign that price is ready to start pulling back. But for example, if we take out this high over here, this becomes your internal low. And then we can already wait for that low to go. And then this 15-minute, you could already start looking for shorts. But of course, the highest probability trade or the highest probability short, and again my chart is very messy now, but will come once this line over here, this 4-hour fractal structure, which I just showed you guys, once that low goes, then you have the highest probability shorts upon a pullback in towards supply, which broke that low. So yeah, that's EURUSD, what I'm looking for, potential shorts coming up with the overall ascending wedge in towards the highs. Moving on in towards AUDUSD. So what are we looking for on AUDUSD? Overall, inside daily area of supply, so inside this daily wick over here. But of course, you guys know I am kind of favoring this higher area of daily supply. So in the short term, on the short term, we might start seeing a pullback. So as long as order flow is respected, I am expecting this higher area of supply to get hit from the daily perspective. So I'm looking for this area of supply, guys, from a daily time frame. But then moving on in towards the 4 hour, what do we need your price to do in order to reach that? Well, we need order flow to maintain. So that's, for example, this sell for the buy. And we can clearly see this morning, for example, that we tap back in towards that sell for the buy over here, and from there moved back up higher. So as long as this sell for the buy maintains, I am going to be looking for higher prices, and I do expect that daily to get hit. But as soon as this 4 hour fractal low goes, then I would expect a deeper pullback from the 4 hour on AUDUSD, because then order flow is broken and we could start seeing a deeper pullback on the 4 hour swing structure from this swing low in towards this swing high, and then of course pull back down in towards this extreme area of demand, with this being your obvious liquidity low. And then of course the EQ being down below over here. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, as long as this sell for the buy holds for the upside. If this low goes, then we look for shorts. Moving on in towards pound dollar. So GBPUSD over here, from a 4 hour perspective, we can see we're just moving up higher. Again, I think we are looking at this very similar to EURUSD, kind of this ascending wedge formation that I'm looking at and focusing on at the moment. So I do expect a deeper correction to take place very, very soon. Of course, we can see that if we look at the daily time frame, that we're nearing this area of supply over here. Also, we did or are nearing this very obvious liquidity high. So once we take out that liquidity high, definitely going to be looking for those shorts, because liquidation is often equal to supply and demand. So if we take out this liquidity high, I'll already be looking for those shorts. If you look at pound dollar, kind of the structure, it does look like it wants to correct and get a normal correction after kind of like this massive impulse up, getting a massive impulse up, and now we're making a slower impulse up. So let's see and keep our eyes open for if we can get that deeper correction. Moving back in towards the 4 hour, what do we need to get that correction? Well, we have, of course, our fractal low, which is positioned at the moment over here. So once that fractal low goes, very similar to EURUSD and AUDUSD dollar, then I'll be looking for those shorts to trade pound dollar further in towards the downside. So that's what I have my eyes open for on GBPUSD. Further deeper correction once we take out this liquidity high and potentially tap in towards this area of supply over here. But for that to happen, of course, we need that structure to change, and we need to see those tail signs that price is ready to provide us with that deeper pullback and for that breakout back down in towards the downside. So that's GBPUSD. Moving on in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD is now located inside this area of 4 hour supply. Looking at it from a daily perspective, if the daily today closes above this high, the daily is now bullish. So keep that in mind. But this could also just be liquidity grab for now, and then overall we're just squeezing in towards the highs, because again, all these dollar pairs are forming this kind of like wedge formation over here, what I have my eyes open for. So we might see a big dump today, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes open and not too aggressive with the shorts. Again, what do we need from NZDUSD? Very similar to the other pairs, waiting for this low over here, this fractal low to go. If that fractal low goes, then we can look for those shorts. Otherwise, what I'll be doing, I'll be looking for longs from this sell before the buy. Once price retraces in towards there, then we look for longs once again. But if this low goes, then we look for shorts. So that's what I have my eyes open for, because then potentially this is just liquidity grab over here on the daily, and price is then ready to continue in towards the downside. Because overall, from a weekly perspective, we did break above this high over here, but the overall correction doesn't seem necessarily over. But I'm not really going to make any statements about the weekly because it's such of a high time frame. But focusing on a daily time frame and a 4 hour time frame, it does look like NZDUSD is ready for that correction in towards the downside once again with this beautiful ascending wedge. Now moving on in towards our last pair, which is of course gold. So gold was the most beautiful pair of yesterday. I also mentioned this in the community, anybody looking at gold longs, because we had this beautiful area of demand, this sub for the buy, which obviously took out this structural high over here. So we can clearly see price taps back in towards that 4-hour demand zone and has been rocketing up ever since. So still expecting higher prices. Yeah, I mean, when can you take another entry? This is now your sell for the buy. Just wait for a close above this high and then look for a pullback and then look for another long back up higher. Overall, from a daily time frame, we are of course inside the supply, but it's not very significant. It just pushed price back down in towards this daily area of demand. So for now, I am looking for a new all-time high on gold to form. So if you are in any longs, you can definitely hold it long term. But yeah, this is potentially a skill in which could form today and which I will be keeping my eyes open for. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it overall for gold. If you want to look for an entry or you want to see how you could have entered this 4-hour area of demand, what I would have recommended is that you go on towards 15-minute and then you see, okay, over here, what do we have? We have this low gets broken, meaning that this over here is now your fractal high. So that would have been this high over here. So as soon as that high gets broken, you know, okay, the 15-minute is now, or excuse me, that is supposed to be this high over here. So this is your 50-minute fractal high. So ultimately what you're seeing is that you're going in towards the downside with a push down, a pullback, a push down, and then boom, you get that fractal high break over here. So from that point onwards, what are you looking for? You're looking for longs. So then you get that push up higher. This becomes your fractal high. So you get that push. So this is what you see, you get that push, a pullback, a push up because you break the high over here. Then you get, again, kind of like a pullback, a push. So then you have this beautiful sell before the buy where I would have looked to enter over here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, of course, you could have, let's say, you get another break of structure over here or fractal break of structure. Then again, inside here, you have demand. And then, yeah, you could have taken another entry. Then again, here, you got a sell before the buy. You can see price comes back in and moves back up again. So yeah, a lot of entry possibilities over there on gold, which you could have taken on the 15-minute based on change of characters. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. If you have any questions, make sure to join the Discord and we will speak very, very soon. Thanks, guys.